Well, today, the 18th of July, is International Nelson Mandela Day, a United Nations appointed and supported day. Individuals and organizations usually dedicate this day to acts of kindness to uplift communities. For the past 13 years, former UN employee Malaak Compton Rock has been supporting local organizations in South Africa through a project called the Angel Rock, focusing on orphans and vulnerable children in their matric and tertiary education. Now, Malaak is back in the country to mark Nelson Mandela Day, and she joins us now. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me on this important day.
What have you done? Because you've been in South Africa now for about a week.
I have.
What have you been doing this week, with regards to the project?
Well, it's been an incredible week. One of our programs of the Angel Rock Project is the Journey for Change Scholars for Girls. It's a very holistic and integrated education program for girls who live in Deep Slit. We have 3 cohorts of girls. We have a cohort that has been with us for 6 years who are now in university. We're very proud of that. We have a cohort who are in grade 12 matric and have been provisionally accepted into universities all over the country. And then we have our little ones who came to us in grade 6. They're now grade 8 going on to high school. So we've been with them all week long, doing programming with them and their parents. It's very, very important for their parents to be engaged in this work with us. And then today, these girls, again, who are from Deep Slit, and sometimes feel that they're always on the receiving end of aid, they're on the giving end of service. They have been at a creche all morning, delivering blankets, delivering mattresses, delivering chairs, food, and really engaging and playing with the little kids. And then they're on their way soon to the Johannesburg Children's Home, which is an orphanage. And that orphanage asks for our kids to paint the outside of their walls, to also bring seeds for their food garden. So they'll be doing that. And then they'll also be playing with kids. I like to tell all people, particularly on this day, that everybody has something to give.
Yeah. That's one of the questions I was going to ask you. People who feel like they can't give because they don't have money to give necessarily, there are other ways to give.
There are certainly other ways to give. And I think Madiba has allowed us to understand that fully. Giving of your time, volunteering, that's what really makes nonprofits go round. Giving small amounts of money. I always tell people that the money that is given to nonprofits here in South Africa or worldwide are not from the super rich. They're little bits of money that people are willing to give on a monthly basis that really is the engine of all nonprofits. Give of your expertise, right? We have women and men who act as career guidance coaches to our children, right? So if I have a kid from Deep Slit and she says she wants to be a gynecologist, or one who's going to be studying paleontology, or one who wants to be a veterinarian, well, we have people who volunteer with us, let our kids come into their offices, into their universities, into their labs, and job shadow them so that they can make sure that this is the career that they want to do. Tutor. You know, we tutor our kids 6 days a week in all subjects. There are many, many ways to give.
How does Angel Rock Foundation get money together?
So, Angel Rock Project Foundation, you know what's wonderful about Mandela? Is that, yes, Mandela obviously is very important to all South Africans, but he was important to us all. Yeah. And I think in the United States, based on our history, we really, really do relate to the shared history in South Africa. So many U.S. citizens and organizations support the Angel Rock Project South Africa, right? We understand that uplifting a child, whether they live in Harlem in New York City or Soweto in South Africa, we are moving forward our global world, right? Because we're all interconnected as humanity. So I'm very, very pleased that we get a lot of support. Me, myself, I am a donor to my own organization. I believe in what I'm doing. I live by the term, to whom much is given, much is required. My life has been very blessed. It is essential that I pay it forward. And then we engage with South African companies and individuals. On Wednesday night, we had a dinner where we showcased our girls, and we had many organizations and corporates in the room who've had supported us in the past, and hopefully, because our girls really shined, we'll have new supporters as well.
I think it's really wonderful. You've just said about how you pay it forward, and now you're saying that you've instilled that same ethos in the girls that you are 100%. Supporting.
100%. You know, one of our scholars who's in university at Wits, and she's studying, she wants to be a teacher, and she potentially may want to teach overseas. She has her eye on the United States, and I said to her, I will support you in this endeavor, but you gotta come home and you have to give back, right? You must pay it forward. It's a very, very strong ethos of our organization.
Now, in a couple of hours' time, the United Nations is going to be holding an event to celebrate Nelson Mandela, International Nelson Mandela Day. Now, you're from the United Nations. What do you think we could expect from that celebration today?
Well, you know, at a time when the world is fractured, right? And the United Nations, I used to work for UNICEF, by the way, which is a UN agency of the United Nations. The world is very, very fractured. There's a lot of conflict going on. And I think what the United Nations reminds us of, and certainly what Madiba reminds us of, is what I said before: we are interconnected. When one of us suffers, we all suffer. And so I think that the United Nations, particularly, you know, the UN is located in New York City, right? Yeah. And right now, politically, instead of having a globalist view, we're seeing our politicians have a very nationalistic view. So I'm hoping that the UN, in bringing people together, will again just show that we're all connected.
Is this your main project that you are focusing on, or do you have other projects you're involved with as well?
I do have other projects that I'm involved with as well, but I will tell you one thing. We spend, my team is here in Johannesburg, we spend probably 80% of our time on our scholars program, or maybe about 70, and 30% on our gender equality work, ending GBV. While everything that I have done in this country over the last 13 years has been important, whether that's instilling clean and safe water, whether that's working with grandmothers on income generating programs, which I have, and I believe in that work, but I am deeply aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals to end poverty by 2030. There is no way to end poverty in this country or any other country if we don't uplift education equity and gender equality. So that's where we spend the majority of our time.
Thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us today.
Absolutely.
That was Malaak Compton Rock, founder of the Angel Rock Project in South Africa at the moment, as we celebrate International Nelson Mandela Day.